Well, folks, we're here again. It's another week of news, and that means it's time for another episode of Ben After Dark. The big news this week was Kamala Harris's big sit-down interview with CNN. She did bring along her emotional support corgi, Tim Walz, who is extremely enthusiastic and also stupid. A good debate strategy for fans would be to just throw a tennis ball really far away. Well, they apparently did this interview in an abandoned diner off of Route 66. The visual was kind of weird. Looked less like a presidential interview and more like Kamala was doing an interview to become an assistant manager at the diner, and she also brought along her dad. Millennials. Anyway, didn't go great. As you might expect when Jason Segel and his Dracula puppet in Forgetting Sarah Marshall show up to explain economic policy. Shrek and Donkey were uninspiring. But at least they weren't Joe Biden, who was actually decomposing on a beach somewhere. For the Democrats, this election was a choice between brain dead and actually completely dead. So they went with brain dead. Kamala produced word salad like a Michelin star chef accidentally spilling Scrabble tiles into a House Caesar. There were so many incredible moments. Like, for example, this one, where she explained how deadlines work.
I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Revelatory. I mean, here I'd been misapplying deadlines my entire life. I keep telling my staff they have a deadline of 120 pounds or a deadline of like 100 kilowatts. But now I know deadlines are for time. Duh. Once it hits you, you just can't unsee it. The things you learn when you watch a moron run for president. But Kamala didn't stop there. Here she was explaining that on the very first day of her presidency, she would fix the middle class.
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward.
So much detail, so much knowledge, the command. It's like watching Aristotle explain metaphysics, only if Aristotle was a complete imbecile who became the American presidential nominee because the current president died and there were no other choices because the vice president was a black woman. You know, like that. But you could really feel the joy when Kamala explained how she had heard that old Joe was dropping out. In fact, she started smiling as she dropped some spicy deets.
When he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
Here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces. And we had just had pancakes and, you know, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle. And the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And that's how I learned about it.
And what about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, "I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you."
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him, to be honest.
Oh man, that is TMI. I mean, St. Kamala was serving bacon to her baby nieces when she heard from the kindly old man, and her first thought was of his well-being. Tell me more, Kamala. I haven't heard someone drop that kind of hot info since we learned Lance Bass was gay. Meanwhile, Assistant Coach Walz,
which as we all know is completely ridiculous, but there is, however, honor in making a loser feel better,
sat awkwardly nearby to ensure that the slow-moving gears in Kamala's head didn't come to a complete stop.
Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
He was mainly there just in case, to turn her on and off again.
Naughty.
Or to blow into her cartridge like it's an old Nintendo. Every so often, he was asked a question, like why he lies so much. His answers were amazing.
You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war,
Yeah.
Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct.
Midwestern sitcom that, not no English good. Sentences hard. Mungo only pawn in game of life.
I'm not a smart man.
Then there was Dana Bash. She's not typically known for her hard-hitting journalistic skills. She's basically the Maria Menounos of DC journalism. But this was a particularly bad performance. She'd occasionally ask a tough question only to run screaming from the follow-up, like Doug Emhoff's wife from his first marriage. So, for example, she was asked if Kamala believed Joe was up for a second term. When Kamala started talking about how awesome Joe was, how he's smart and savvy and alive, she could have followed up and asked, so why are you lying? Or why are you the nominee? Because one of those two things has to be true. Either you're lying or you shouldn't be the nominee. But Dana Bash didn't. Instead, she asked if Kamala would like fries with that. CNN, the most trusted name in news.
You are fake news. Sir.
Perhaps the best moment came when Dana Bash asked why Kamala Harris changed positions more often than Doug Emhoff's former nanny. And Kamala said, well, my values haven't changed. This begged for a bit of a follow-up, like, well, if your values haven't changed, why have all of your positions? Were you lying then, or are you lying now? Instead, Bash actually offered Harris a multiple-choice test of possible reasons for her flip-flopping.
How should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
This all makes no sense if you think of legacy media as journalists. It makes a lot more sense if you think of them as babysitters, like Doug Emhoff does. Bottom line, the joy is gone. Instead, the new campaign is feel the uh-oh. Prepare for Kamala Harris to go missing from the interview circuit again, just like Ellen Page. Anyway, I guess this interview is an improvement since you can't go any worse than 0%. And the truth is the DNC did an excellent job of ensuring their nominee won't have to answer one question by first picking a sweetheart network and then handcuffing her to her My Buddy in Carhartt overalls.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Wherever I go, he goes.
To talk to her, you gotta get through me. And once you get through me, you gotta get through her bullshit. Even if it looks like we won't get another Kamala interview before November 5th, I'm still very optimistic about an idea I had. A 5-on-1 interview. Shares allowed. Kamala can only talk about Doug's favorite kosher style, but not actually kosher, beef brisket she makes for Easter. It's going to be a barn burner. There's one other area of your life where you need things to be clear. That'd be your phone line. Oh, yeah. Pure Talk will make sure that you have excellent cell phone coverage plus premium access to the media you actually care about. That's Pure Talk again. Might be the best offer Pure Talk has ever come out with right now. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk on a qualifying plan, you get a free 1-year insider subscription to Daily Wire Plus. That is correct. Take advantage of unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot on America's most dependable 5G network for just $35 a month. And you get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus. The Daily Wire Plus Insider Plan gets you access to our entire library of movies, series, and documentaries, including Lady Ballers, What is a Woman, Mr. Bertram, Foundations of the West, and more. Plus, you get all our daily shows uncensored and ad-free. The only way you can get that special offer is by going to puretalk.com/Shapiro. I'm telling you for years, you're overpaying for your cell phone plan. If you haven't made the switch to Pure Talk, now is the time to do it. Go to puretalk.com/Shapiro today. Switch to a qualifying plan. Get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. That's puretalk.com/Shapiro today. Meanwhile, when you have a campaign without a platform and you're already knee-deep in false advertising, why not keep the streak alive and let the good lies roll? We've already got a VP pick who thinks he's a down-home barbecuing football coach, but is actually an extreme socialist loon who let his city burn to the ground and lied about serving in combat. And we also have a top of the ticket who acts like she wasn't in charge of the last 4 years of leaving our borders as open as Jada Pinkett and Will Smith's marriage.
Come on, man. Damn.
Don't slap me, Will. That was your call, not mine. Anyway, it's time to lie to an all-new voter pool, the Swifties. To be honest, I'm kind of okay with it. They want to be lied to, just like Travis Kelce every time she says she loves him and wants to be with him forever. Anyway, on Tuesday, a group called the Swifties for Kamala Coalition launched with a virtual rally for Harris that raised more than $130,000. They called upon rabid Taylor Swift fans to take part in the event and then donate in the name of their favorite pop star, who in reality has not even endorsed or even said the name of Kamala Harris. Taylor wasn't on the call. She just had nothing to do with it, like most of her relationships. They basically just used her name to lure in the gullible teens. This is the political equivalent of releasing a Masked sequel starring Jamie Kennedy instead of Jim Carrey. But still, liberals like Elizabeth Warren and Kirsten Gillibrand, who are on the Zoom, obviously see nothing wrong with capitalizing on Taylor's fame and depressing thousands of young girls by switching out the biggest celebrity on planet Earth for Carole King.
Players gonna play. Haters gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. I shake it off.
Imagine logging into the Swifties for Kamala call, and you expect to see Tay-Tay in the flesh. And then you're forced to hear your hippie grandma sing in a pitch that would make fingernails on a chalkboard shiver. I can't believe Carole King used to be good. Actually, like she was good. Like Tapestry is an amazing album. But now Carole King sings like she's already been wrapped in a death shroud. But it's not just the Kamala campaign simping for Swift. Donald Trump also posted a doctored AI image implying that the cruel summer singer endorsed his campaign, proving that in 2024, Taylor Swift is apparently more attractive to candidates than Pennsylvania voters. Guys, she's not going to date you. Or Travis Kelce for real. Meanwhile, a woman who is actually friendly with Taylor Swift went under the bus this week, Brittany Mahomes, the wife of NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes. She is apparently one of Taylor's best friends since Tay-Tay started allegedly dating Brittany's husband's teammate, Travis Kelce, and then became big news this week because Brittany liked multiple social media posts supporting Trump's campaign. And as you know, Democrats cannot have any friends that don't share their exact same political beliefs. The world wants answers to questions. Questions like, how dare she? And also, how could Brittany do this?
Leave Brittany alone!
And also, does Taylor Swift actually have friends? Does she even like football? Why does anyone give a shit about this mid-talent 34-year-old pretending to be 17 while dancing like Madonna at age 80 but with a broken hip? But anyway, back to Brittany. She has decided to stay strong, especially considering the initial post she liked focused on keeping men out of women's sports and also deporting pro-Hamas radicals from our country. That seems pretty reasonable. I don't know why anybody's mad. It's not like she reposted a petition to have J.D. Vance open the Eras tour or something. It's all just more proof that this election is focused on everything except actual beliefs or political plans. Kamala is busy having a brat summer, and Swifties think that's fire. And if anyone in your girl boss squad steps out of line, they should be forced to date Jake Gyllenhaal and let Taylor write a mean song about them. When our economy crumbles and other world leaders are eating this administration for lunch, at least we'll have cute little friendship bracelets that say, what would Taylor do? Kamala is a major liar, which is why the American people should not hire her for the job of president. But if you are looking for the best people to hire, there's only one place to look: ZipRecruiter. Here at the Daily Wire, we've hired a lot of highly skilled people to be part of this growing creative powerhouse. Editors, attorneys, engineers, you name it. Like Phil. Phil just recently started on our team. From editing YouTube videos to putting me in place while debating Marvel movies. He was wrong about Rocket Raccoon and The Last Jedi as well. But thanks to Phil, I've been able to continue creating thousands of leftist tears every day. Plus, he wears amazing t-shirts. All right, that's enough feelings for one day. The facts remain these. If you are looking for amazing hires like Phil and our entire Daily Wire team, you need to go to ZipRecruiter, where its smart technology excels at finding top talent for all your roles fast. ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within day 1. Today, you can try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. If you're a growing business, you need the best people to hire. ZipRecruiter does it for you. Head on over to ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. Meanwhile, this week, CNN got their hands on some video footage the world has been waiting on for almost 4 years. And no, I do not mean this terrifying TikTok post that rivals anything Blumhouse has released for years.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
Ooh, I know I've been focusing on the Democrats' lack of policy lately. I also think it's important to note their lack of embarrassment. The only thing that clip actually influences its viewers to do is to throw acid into their own eyes. Nancy Pelosi can't even keep to the beat. If you didn't know Nancy Pelosi was white before that video, you certainly do after. Honestly, I've seen more rhythm from Theresa May at a South African school. As much as we wish that TikTok video had been held from public consumption for decades, it was actually footage from documentary filmmaker Alexandra Pelosi, the daughter of human fossil Nancy Pelosi, that is finally seeing the light of day. Alexandra had been filming her mom for a future HBO documentary, and coincidentally, the cameras were rolling on January 6th, 2021, the most important date in the history of the Republic. And if you don't believe it, you hate America. It's so important. Yeah. Anyway, forcing the network to turn over the tapes to Congress while they continue to investigate what actually happened. Here's what we see. The former Speaker of the House doing what she does best. Wait, no, actually, what she does best is patronizing black people. But actually, in this video, we see her doing what she does second best, putting her own interests and political career ahead of the country she was elected to protect. So here she is the morning after January 6th on her way to the Capitol, not trying to get to the bottom of why security wasn't sufficient for the rally, or attempting to find out who attacked security officers, or even wondering where the closest Starbucks is because she could use a latte. She's making sure Donald Trump is the sole scapegoat for absolutely everything that happened on January 6th.
I think our focus has to be on the president. Let's not divert ourselves. I don't want to have it on a par with the insurrection and the impeachment and the rest of that. If they ask, I will respond, but I'm not doing it on a par because it's a diversionary tactic.
Understood.
It's almost like Nancy Pelosi saw January 6th only as an opportunity to blame the president for actions that he actually wasn't personally involved in. Trust me, if she could find a way to blame him for 9/11, Red Lobster's closing, the Chicago White Sox's performance this year, awful, Ashley Simpson's lip syncing, or the price of guac, she would. Speaking of blame, here she was admitting her own guilt and shame for her lack of preparation and security for the event, something Donald Trump has mentioned hundreds of times and been ridiculed for, but here it is straight from the dinosaur's mouth.
I feel responsible. We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
Color me shocked. There were more precautions set at a Wiggles concert. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, because as footage continues to leak, I think we'll see more and more of vengeful, scheming Nancy Pelosi, or, as I like to call it, Nancy Pelosi. All right, folks, we've reached the end of this week's Ben After Dark. We'll be back here with more suffering next week.